Happy March, you guys. This year is flying by. It's crazy, but it's here. It's happening. So this is my March 2019 budget. Right now, I just have the paychecks and I underline them in a certain color. And this is a 5 paycheck month, which is always awesome. And then I have the bills or the expenses that I'm planning to pay with all of those paycheck balances. So in this case, I got paid Friday. I was using that to withdraw money from my IRA, withdraw money from my cash envelopes, and then it will also cover my cell phone bill, and so on and so forth. So that's March. It's nice having this little overview because it also helps me make sure that my bill tracker is updated. This is my March overview page. I changed it a little bit from February. February didn't have this design. I have my goals set, my financial goals for the month, which are use cash envelopes only for food categories. So that's gonna be my groceries, my dates, and my eating out. Then I have Whole30 while budgeting. I am planning to start Whole30 on Monday, and I don't want to use that as an excuse to overspend and to buy crazy stuff at the grocery store. And then I also want to increase my giving to 5% or more because I have been saving like a mad person, but I also would like to give back a little bit more. And then I wrote in my reminders, going on a Houston trip with my mom again. Gym supplements, I might need some protein powder or something. I also have a dentist appointment coming up. And then I had a doctor appointment in February and I paid a copay, but I just want to make sure I don't owe anything. So I need to follow up on that. Then I have my little bill tracker. By filling out my calendar spread, it makes filling in my bill tracker super easy. I glance at my calendar spread, make sure I write everything down. And then I glance at every dollar just to make sure I'm not missing anything, but everything should match up. Then I have my actual, I guess you would call them the budget spreadsheets. And so everything in here, it's pretty much the same as February. The only difference is I took out the tax refund line. I don't need that one anymore. And so now it's just my paychecks and any extra income. Have all of these. All of these budgeted categories match what I did in every dollar. So I did my every dollar budget first because it's easy, it does the math for me. And then I come in here and I put it on paper to make it more real. And then we have the other side, other categories, my sinking funds and my savings. So I changed it just to savings, but I still think I need to tweak this because based off of how difficult it was to close out my budget for February, this is not gonna do it. I need to break out my sinking funds separate from just these savings category. But then I also have the, projected, actual, expenses, savings, and break that down at the end of the month. Then I have 2 pages of expense trackers for checking. The difference I did here, I think I made this payee column a little bit narrower, and I actually kind of don't like it. It's kind of a squeeze already, so might change that next time around. I made the subcategory a little bit larger, and then I added, so just how I do payments where I do a column for dollars and cents, I also added it for balance because I think it looks cleaner. So I have my expense tracker for my checking. I have another page for the checking, but I'm hoping I don't use it as much. We shall see. And then I have an expense tracker for my cash envelopes, and I'm doing something a little bit different this month. Just because last month I struggled so hard with my cash envelopes and I was so confused. So what I have, payee, category, subcategory, was it a payment or a deposit? But then these 2 columns are what is different. So I have total cash, which means when I add up all my cash envelopes, this is the amount that should be there. And then I have an envelope category, and I'm gonna use this as the balance for the envelope. So a good example is I withdrew money today for my cash envelopes. So I had a total of $400 cash. And then I divvied it up. So that's why I kind of drew these lines to not get confused. So I put $200 in my grocery envelope, $50 in my date envelope, $50 in my eating out. Am I all lined up? Yes. And then $100 in my travel. So now these are showing the specific balances for these envelopes. And then today I went out and had got food for a date. So I put the expense, so it was $17, which means my total cash on hand should now only be $383, and my total cash in that date envelope is $33. So this is something new I'm trying, but I'm hoping it'll help me be more organized in that sense. This is also new. I did a expense tracker for my savings. I'm hoping this will help me for any times I dip into my sinking funds. The only sinking funds I really will be dipping into are going to be my smaller ones, so like car maintenance, apartment supplies, any of those little small ones, and those are all going to be stored in my local credit union account. And so my goal is, if I have to dip into my actual funds beyond what was budgeted, so I budgeted $100 or so for car maintenance, but if something happens and it costs $150, well, I'm gonna have to go take $50 that I have from my rollover sinking funds for car maintenance. So I'll have the $100 that I budgeted plus 50. Well, I'm gonna show me taking out that 50 from here, if that makes sense. That's at least my plan for it. We'll see how it works out in practice, but I'm hoping that will help me be less confused at the end of the month when I'm trying to balance everything. I can see exactly what I dipped into. And then again, I have the actual sinking funds, start balance, end balance, plus or minus, what my goal is for the actual fund, like how much I want to have or how much I'm saving for, and then how close am I to completion. So last month I had the budget review and the sinking funds on the same page. I separated it out, and so now I just have one page for my budget review. It's gonna be paychecks, miscellaneous income. I forgot, because I printed this out before I had all these troubles with my budget review, so maybe I'll reprint this page, but I want to add in a sinking funds category, hopefully to account for any of the times I dip into my sinking funds. And I'm hoping that will help me balance my budget or close it out at the end of the month. And then I have notes. Actually, I think next time I might just make this whole half-page notes, but whatever. We shall think about that next time. And then I have my net worth tracker, and I will fill that in at the end of the month. There's no rush right now. And I realized I forgot to put last month, this month, and percentage change, so I might have to reprint this one as well. I was doing a lot of troubleshooting while I was designing these. I was trying to think of the issues that I had already encountered just using this paper printable the first time around, but clearly I forgot a few things, so I might do another bit of tweaking. Essentially, I'm just having you guys along for the ride as I figure out what works best for me and hopefully give you guys ideas for things that might be helpful or useful to you. And also just to show you that things change. So as things work or don't work, I am adjusting, and you can do that too. It is your budget. As long as you are staying on task and it's helping you be organized and stick to your budget, that's what matters. I set up my March budget on every dollar, and I will post a video on that as well, just so you can kind of get a feel for why I budgeted the amounts I did. But other than that, I think that is it for now, you guys. Thank you so much for watching.